Audi TT Mk1 track rod end removal and replacement. I accept no responsibility or liability for any injury, damage or loss caused from the content of this video. A list of the tools that I use are available at the end of this video also. This video and series of videos to follow are to help you undertake some of the Audi TT Mk1 repair or maintenance jobs at home. I had no tools for the job at the start of this and have bought the tools as I've gone along. I am no mechanic, but I like to have a go at DIY, so I figured give it a go and document what you did. It might help some of you out there that are in a similar position. I will describe each part as I go. If you want to fast forward to the relevant part, here are the times in the video where you can see each bit. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this useful. So pop off the centre cap of the alloy to expose the Roadwheel bolts. Using a locking wheel nut key if you have them and a wheel brace, loosen the alloy wheel nuts but leave them in place. We will remove them once the vehicle is off the ground. To get the vehicle off the ground high enough to get the axle stands underneath, I'm going to use this Sealy 2-ton resistance trolley jack. Using the handle, place the end over the tightening nut and turn clockwise to lock the jack into pressurised position. Find a good strong place on the chassis and align the trolley jack and then start pumping to raise the car. To secure the car and keep it upright while working on it, we're going to need to put axle stands under the chassis to support the vehicle weight. Mine are from Amazon and cost about £20. Here you can clearly see the position on the chassis where I'm placing the axle stand. With the axle stand in position, take the jack handle, place it over the pneumatic nut and slowly release the pressure by turning the handle anti-clockwise. This will cause the vehicle to slowly lower, but put the jack in position again for safety. With the car on the axle stands, we can now remove the front wheel by removing the wheel nuts that remain. Something I discovered last year after having my alloys resprayed is that the material used in the alloy and the hub can become fused or welded together when left in place too long. To solve it, get a piece of wood or a club hammer and give the tyre a good hard whack from the backhand side, careful not to damage the rim. This should free up the alloy from the hub. Best to leave one wheel nut in place to prevent the wheel rolling across the drive. So your wheel hub should now look like this, and the track rod end is located behind the rear of the brake disc just here. If you are fortunate enough, you should be able to put a 19mm socket over the top of the nut that holds the track rod end nut in place. Loosen the nut by turning the socket anti-clockwise. This should allow the track rod end to fall free from the wheel hub. There is an Allen key hole on the inside of the thread of the nut that holds this in place. So you can use an Allen key in the top of the thread and a 19mm spanner to loosen the nut off. So what do you do if the Allen key hole is rounded off? This was my problem, so I had to find a solution. I did try and clamp this with a ball joint clamp, but even that didn't work. So I had to use a hacksaw. A bit extreme I know, but needs must. This is the location you should make the cut in the threaded bolt between the nut and the track rod end itself. With the bolt cut through, pull down on the track rod end to free it from the steering arm. If stuck, give it a little tap with the end of a spanner to free it up. Here you can see where the track rod end meets the track rod. There is a locking nut holding it secure, and loosening this will allow you to simply unscrew the track rod end. Take a spanner and loosen the lock nut by 1/4 turn. Once at this point, wrap a piece of insulation tape around the track rod to make sure the lock nut does not move any further down the arm. Again, you don't even want the track rod itself to move, or it could adjust your steering. So make sure you put a spanner on this part of the bar. It's got a flat bottom and top to hold it in position when you try and undo the lock nut. Okay, so here's the new track rod end. Please note, when ordering a new track rod end, make sure you're getting the right part for the right side of the car. There's obviously a near side and an off side for this part. Mine cost £11.50 from eBay. Reassembly is simply a reverse of what you've just done. Screw the track rod end onto the end of the track rod up to the point of where you meet the locking nut. Remember, you have backed this off by a quarter of a turn, so make sure you put the locking nut back to where it originally was, which should be marked by the tape. With an Allen key in the top of the thread, use an adjustable spanner or a 19mm spanner to start this process of tightening. Using the 19mm socket, start to apply pressure to tighten up the track rod end. The track rod ball joint nut should be tightened to 45 newtons of pressure on a torque wrench or 33 pounds of foot torque. My advice would be to take the car to a garage on completion of this work so that they can check the steering alignment and tracking of the vehicle. And that's it. Stick the wheel back on, lower the jack, and away you go. Half-inch 12-point lock spline socket set and Rolson half-inch breaker bar, both from Amazon. Half-inch hex drive socket set from eBay. Torque wrenches were from my local motor spares supplier and eBay. Axle stands from Amazon. Trolley jack also from Amazon. Thanks for watching. Feel free to post any comments in the section below.